Welcome back, friends, to the Lindsay Show. Let's talk today about peptide injections and the Wolverine shot. Everybody's been talking about it in the news. And so today's episode is going to explore one of the most controversial trends in biohacking and fitness, and that is peptide injections, which, we've been talking a lot about because they are so everywhere on everybody's radar. So we're going to be talking about the Wolverine shot, which is a tiny little, amino acid chain that is growing in rage in wellness clinics, gyms, and med spas. So let's talk about the hype behind the Wolverine shot and what are the risks that might be hiding behind it. So, people everywhere are chasing lean muscle. And they're also looking for rapid recovery and anti-aging, and they're turning to injectable peptides. One specifically, BPC 157, is promising to tap into all the body's natural systems that can help us to have greater longevity. And everyone is using these injections, just at will. People really don't have a ton of research behind them because the research doesn't exist. We already do have peptide therapies that have some research, like Ozempic and Mounjaro. Believe it or not, insulin is going to be one of those, creatine, and there's a lot of skincare serums that contain peptides or contain things derived from peptides. But we're seeing people use them very differently these days for things like muscle gain, fat loss, testosterone support, and muscle recovery after workouts. So let's talk about this Wolverine shot that everybody's been talking about. It's been capturing a lot of attention. BPC 157 is the most well-known peptide among workout enthusiasts, and that's why it has earned the nickname of the Wolverine shot, and that is for its supposed regenerative effects. It's derived from stomach peptides, and it is thought to work by speeding up tissue healing and reducing inflammation. So there are other peptides. One is called testosterone. It was studied in HIV-related fat reduction. There is sermorelin, which is for sleep and recovery. And then there are combinations, CJC 1295 plus ipamorelin, that aim to boost our muscle signals by engaging the growth hormone axis. Reddit streams and YouTubers are proudly sharing their peptide stacks and mixing these compounds to get these maximum outcomes that they're looking for. But there's caution to be had, because despite the popularity, scientific evidence, especially in healthy adults, is really slim. There's not a lot of it at all. Most of the data that we have out there comes from animal studies or really small trials, and they're not large scale for human research. And the FDA has really noticed that. And so back in 2022, there were only 4 peptides that were flagged as risky for compounding. And by the end of 2023, that number ballooned to 26. So we had 4 peptides in 2022, and then we had 26 in 2023. That doesn't happen in the medicine world very often. And so that means that more peptides are being restricted, are harder to source legally, and, people are just kind of Wild Westing it out there with these peptide therapies. And so there are physicians that are out there that claim that they're like, hey, I use these peptides myself. There have been physicians who use BPC 157 for injuries. And we've also had really well-known CEOs come and credit peptide therapy for a torn meniscus, and they used it. It worked for them, but they both acknowledged that there was not good evidence behind it. They just kind of did it. And so some doctors use it, and a lot of people think that that means that it is just usable for everyone, that everybody can, use it the same way, that everybody's going to be using the same peptides. But we really want to be cautious, especially about overdosing. Overdosing can be a problem. And one of the areas that it can be a bigger problem is in the combination of testosterone and testosterone. This actually can lead to organ enlargement, like a bloated liver and a bloated spleen. And so that's not fun. Nobody wants that. That sounds terrible. So you also want to be sure that you're getting your peptides tested. There is a lot of mislabeling, contamination, and that can be a real risk for people using these products. And so science is still science. And so, peptides are great. If you want to use them, go for it. But, sleep, good nutrition, working out, getting plenty of protein and strength training, cutting out sugar, all of that, as well as connection and being around other humans, are really the most proven paths to health and longevity. So, peptides are one thing, but being actually in control of your health by your daily choices is actually really what's going to lead you to being as healthy as you can possibly be. So, the question is, are these the performance and anti-aging, dreams of the future, or are they just a fad with a lot of unknowns? I mean, right now, the promise is real, but so are the concerns. There's limited data, there's unregulated production, and there's potential health risks out there. But, tons of people are going to use them, and anybody's going to use something that is trendy and fad-based that tells you you're going to lose weight. So my suggestion to you is, don't think of this as a cornerstone for health. This is an enhancement, but it's not obviously a substitute of good sleep, good movement, good nutrition, and stress management. And so that's all for today's episode. Thank you for listening to The Lindsay Elmore Show. Let's talk more about things that are trending in the news in health and wellness. Let me know what you want me to teach next.